and welcome back
To Read the Room,
A Culture Club.
a podcast by
Alexys.
Kaylin.
and Larsen.
Today, our episode is on movie parodies and spoof movies.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
What's your guys' favorite spoof movie? Pre-conversation.
That's a hard question,
That
honestly.
is hard.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my favorites lean towards it is technically a spoof of something,
Mhm.
but is not, or like a parody of something, but is not like what you think of
Mm-hmm.
when you think of like a parody movie.
Would we consider like Dodgeball to be a spoof or parody movie?
I think actually it might be on the list. Now that
See, that's
I couldn't remember if I added that one or not, because that one I felt like I went back and forth and back and forth and
Uh-huh.
back and forth on, because it feels like it is, but it is also just all of those comedies of that era, like
Yeah.
the Ben Stiller, the Will Ferrell's. Those all feel just so outrageous versus spoofy.
Yeah.
But like, I keep wanting to say Blazing Saddles. That is a spoof. What's
Uh-huh.
what's the
Grape-
ice skating one?
The Balls of Fire, Blades of Glory?
Blades of
Blades of
Glory.
Glory.
That one I feel like explicitly
Yeah.
a spoof.
Yeah.
Like it is so much making fun of
Yeah.
it's very like Zoolander of it, but like sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't know. Yes, Dodgeball, I think.
Oh, maybe like Ricky Bobby. What's that? Like
Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights.
Yeah, is that a spoof too?
Well, of
Yeah.
Are they all
NASCAR.
spoofs?
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard because I would say one that I think maybe doesn't come to mind, but is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I would say it has elements of a parody,
Mm-hmm.
is Some Like It Hot
Mm-hmm.
with Marilyn Monroe.
Yes.
It has like elements where it's like kind of a spoof on like a gangster movie of the era. There's a lot of like comedic elements that go beyond just like comedy.
Yes.
But I don't think
They're
that
making a bigger joke than the joke in the moment.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it kind of is like a spoof on something or a parody of something, but like is the movie as a whole like considered a parody? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So interesting. It's like the rectangle square thing.
Yes.
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like so much of comedy is a spoof.
Mm-hmm.
But just because it's a comedy doesn't necessarily mean it's
Yeah.
1000% parody.
Mm-hmm.
So where you draw the lines is really interesting. And when it comes to like what do we mean by a spoof or by a parody, since we're already getting to the crux of
Yes.
what counts and what doesn't count.
And I think just to add to that,
Yeah.
when something is like a social satire,
Yes.
doesn't mean that it's actually like a parody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there can be things that are satirical but don't have the same and are funny but don't have the same comedy elements as a parody.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And spoof films are really interesting because that one thing that I learned when I was reading about them that I guess I just didn't really ever consciously know. It's one of those things like you think about it, you're like, oh, I guess that's true. Is that
Mhm.
they're very genre dependent. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
usually a spoof is always parodying a specific genre or a specific piece that is a cornerstone of a genre.
Yeah.
So therefore it's
Mhm.
almost like a genre within genres.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
Absolutely. And as we go through like our examples, there's very clearly this is space spoof, this is Western spoof, like, and you might enjoy it if you don't enjoy that genre. You might enjoy it more. You might enjoy it less.
Yeah, and spoofs and parodies are also usually very of their time.
Mm-hmm.
And also the comedy will, for a successful spoof or parody, adapt to the times and choose which genres or works they adapt and poke fun at based on what's socially relevant, what kind of tropes are going to be relevant to the most people in that particular era.
And some withstand the tests of time, at least
Mhm.
portions of them. But yeah, it is very much a time, a place, a moment.
Yeah.
And I suppose it makes sense that like the best parodies and the best spoofs will stand the test of the time.
Yeah.
Because even though they might be responding to specific aspects of their society's day and age, we know that the biggest elements of societal criticism or societal awareness usually pop back up again and again and again across generations.
Mhm.
So it's like if they can poke fun at it in the 60s, 70s, it's probably still going to hit somewhat today.
Yeah. Well, and also, as if you've listened to many episodes of this here podcast, you know, we suffer the same problems that we have been for a really long time too. Like a lot of our cultural issues have been cultural issues. So that makes sense.
Yeah. And please, dear listener, like forgive me / us if we use parody and spoof interchangeably.
Yeah.
They're not exactly the same thing, but they do.
I was going to say we're not English teachers, but one of us is.
Famously.
To me, it feels in my head spoof and parody should be switched. The definitions should be switched. Parody to me feels larger
Yeah.
than spoof.
Yeah.
But spoof is the one that's like the larger theme, right? And parody's more specific.
Yeah, I believe.
I feel like how you said larger, I'm like, I don't.
So in the Russian nesting doll of it all.
Yes.
In the circle square or the rectangle square.
Right. I think you have spoof,
Yes.
Mhm.
parody,
Yes.
satire.
Okay.
No, wait, no. I would say satire is the largest. Then you have spoof. Then you have parody.
I feel like satire, you have to be a lot more zoned in, though.
No, but satire is like a critique of like society sometimes. Like it's broad. Whereas spoof is like maybe a genre style. And then parody is like a specific work or artist, like more specific. That's my understanding of it.
I do follow
I see what you're
that.
saying.
I think the only reason why in my mind I had it switched was because
Mr. Henderson? Oh.
No.
You don't have the same core memories as I do about parodies and satire?
I don't think I have that English class core memory. But I was thinking about the fact that like parodies usually exist with the main purpose to entertain, while satire exists with the main purpose to critique. And you can entertain and critique at the same time, but that doesn't always mean you're doing both. So, like, a parody could be satirical because it could be aiming to critique, but not all parodies are going to be satire because sometimes their goal is really just to entertain.
Okay.
But listening to Larsen, I also was like, well, wait, that makes sense. So maybe it is not a Russian.
I think it's
nesting
more
doll?
like Venn diagram.
Yes.
But one covers like broad topics and it gets more and more specific, but the
Mhm.
overlap is like the Venn diagram part.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You guys agree? Listeners, do you agree?
Roomies?
Roomies, help us figure it out. We'll draw up a
But-
try diagram.
Yeah, but most likely we will end up just using them
All interchangeably.
Yeah, to me, the biggest differentiators are satirical, means it is critiquing. Parody means it's based on a very specific work or genre. And spoof is the broadest. I don't know.
Okay. Clear as mud.
I still kind of feel like spoof is smaller than satire.
It doesn't feel exactly as it should be
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
in my
It's like
reflex.
opaque and sheer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so major difference between parody and spoof is that parody imitates a specific work, whereas spoof imitates a general
A general. A genre.
Je ne sais quoi.
a general genre.
Genre.
So a parody example,
Mhm.
SNL
Mhm.
doing like commercials to imitate popular like I don't know, pharmaceutical companies or
Okay,
whatever.
yeah.
That would be a parody.
Mhm. Or like a direct press conference that like
Yes.
recently happened or
Yes,
something. Yeah.
that's parody.
Like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is a parody,
Yes.
right? Because it's it's
Yes.
really targeting
Yeah.
a specific work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually do think this provides some clarity.
Whereas like Scary Movie franchise is a
Mhm.
spoof of the horror genre. I think it's like a spoof parody because I'm sure there are specific elements from a specific horror work, but it is spoofing the horror genre.
Mm.
So what's satire?
And then satire.
Right.
So satire usually is spreading awareness of an issue. It's usually dealing with more like human topic, like just more general world topics. Satire is typically entertaining, but that knowledge of the subject is used as a critique.
Yeah. I just remember our final project freshman year of high school was to make a satire of something, and Mr. Henderson over and over again kept being like, no, not a parody, a satire. And I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure we all made parodies.
So
By those definitions.
Yeah. Satire utilizes humor to comment or criticize an aspect of people or society. Parody uses humor to imitate a specific work and is often mistaken for a spoof, which instead employs humor to imitate a general genre
Okay.
rather than a specific work.
Interesting. Okay. So you know what? My project about Jersey Shore might have actually been the correct
Wait,
Totally.
I do remember your Jersey
Yeah,
Shore fun
yeah,
fact.
So like clearly there's overlap.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's overlap.
So,
Absolutely.
okay, so I'm understanding that while they are technically distinct, they're
Mhm.
very intersecting, right?
Yeah.
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 The Venn diagram is strong between the
Mhm.
three. Yeah.
Mhm.
For sure. But that does make sense.
I think most of the things on our list are going to be spoofs that
Mhm.
have parody elements because it has to be very, very specific to be like a full on parody.
Right. That does make total sense. And, I was looking into it. The roots of parodies and satire go back actually like way farther than I was
Yeah.
thinking.
Mhm.
It turns out that people have always loved a lull. In the 5th century BCE, we have the first known usage of the Greek word parodia, which means counter song. I thought
Mm.
that
Hmm.
That's so beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful for something that is oftentimes very cheeky.
Mhm.
Yes. Counter song.
Super silly, but like it makes sense that even in that like definition, even in that root, it's the idea of like a response to something.
Yeah.
Right. Aristotle credited a poet named Hegemon of Thassos with inventing parodia. Hegemon would alter the wording of well-known epics to turn sublime heroic tales into like ridiculous stories.
Nice. I think I like this hegemon guy.
Yeah. And also during theatrical festivals, oftentimes the Greeks would stage tragic trilogies, which they would play out as they were originally written or originally passed down.
Mhm.
But then they would follow them with satyr plays, which parodied the very heroes and myths they had just seen. So they were doing a double feature.
Yeah. No, I like that. We should do that today.
New plan for the night. But yeah, so it's been around for a minute. It's been around for a minute, the parody. And we even get like in 1605 Don Quixote by Miguel de Cervantes, which mocked the dying genre of chivalric romances. And a lot of people say like Don Quixote established the modern novel format. But now that I'm thinking about it, if Don Quixote was mocking a chivalric romance genre, is that actually an early example of a spoof?
Because it's the whole
This
genre.
is the whole genre.
Whatever article you got this information from, we should like report them to the
They didn't know.
police.
They didn't know. So Greeks have the parodies. Don Quixote has the spoof. And this kind of comedy continues to be really popular and prevalent even in classical times. 1712, Alexander Pope writes The Rape of the Lock, which sounds really very serious.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And is a poem written in the style of one of those classic Greek epics, but is about a lock of hair being stolen.
Not where I thought that was gonna go at all.
Just like people were just having fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in 1817,
Mm-hmm.
our good old Jane Austen,
My
Mm.
girl.
posthumously published, so she didn't actually get to publish it, but
Mhm.
Northanger Abbey, which is a parody of a Gothic novel.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. We know that there's the age-old debate about like originality and how much originality is there actually in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to our adaptations episode for more on that.
But people just love to have a reference. People just
Yeah.
love to be inspired. Sometimes it's inspired in a serious way. Sometimes it's inspired in a I'm going to turn this on its head kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that like with a historical lens, we forget they're just a bunch of silly girls too.
Yeah.
Right. Like sometimes you forget that people really like to have a laugh. People
Mhm.
love to be entertained.
Yeah. And
Ah.
laugh at what is the standard, what is the norm, what is
Yeah.
the yeah.
Yeah, poke fun at those things that society is taking so seriously and being like, you guys, it's not that serious.
For sure.
It's never been that deep.
Girl, whatever. like there's a reason why the classic imagery for like theater and the arts is the sad tragedy mask and the happy comedy mask, because you gotta have them in equal parts, or else your view of the arts is incomplete.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. The last bit of history that I had before we get into like our modern examples was I just wanted to throw a shout out to the Harvard Lampoon. And since we have all these definitions in the episode already, I'll just throw out that I didn't know that a lampoon was reference something specific. I always wondered as a child, why is it called National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
I was like, where do I know that word?
Yeah.
It's certainly not the Harvard Lampoon.
No, from the Griswolds. From the Griswolds.
Yes.
But to lampoon is to publicly criticize, mock, or ridicule someone or something using humor, irony, or exaggeration.
Okay.
So it falls right into that overlaid Venn diagram that we've created. Obviously, in like the Griswold movies, they're lampooning kind of like suburban life. But the Harvard Lampoon is the third longest running comedy magazine in the world. It's established in 1876, like I said.
But
It's
only the third longest running.
only
We've
I
been
know.
funny for a long time, Larsen.
They seemed really proud of that when I was researching it. But I was like, you're bronze.
Where's the first and the second?
I don't have those ones. They're probably not
Also,
American. Which
this
is,
might be
I should unpack that.
ignorant, but like, is the Harvard Lampoon a Harvard University creation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was created by Harvard students, and traditionally, like, it is a student-run magazine.
Okay.
So only students publish writing in the magazine, but it's had some really like notable comedians pass through its halls, such as BJ Novak
Oh, okay.
wrote for the Harvard
I was like, I
Lampoon.
don't know any comedian that's from Harvard.
Have you guys seen the Sex Lives of College Girls by chance off HBO?
I haven't seen it, but
I don't think so.
I know of it.
Yeah.
I've seen clips on TikTok.
It's a
That
Mindy
counts.
It's a Mindy Kaling show, and we know that she has her weird little shit with BJ Novak,
Mhm.
right? In that show, they're going to like a prestigious East Coast private university, and one of the college girls that the show is about wants to be a female writer on the university's comedy magazine. And there's like she's the Indian girl, and there is a boy who's already on the staff who's a kind of punk white boy, likes indie sleaze white boy. And it's like, you're just writing this play about yourself.
I was like, are they spoofing their own college experience?
They're parodying
That's
the Harvard
parody.
Lampoon.
Jesus fucking Christ.
They're parodying the Harvard Lampoon. But I just wanted to throw them out there. One, because that's how I learned what lampoon meant.
Yeah.
And two, because they have published a lot of parody work over the years. That's kind of like their main goal, right?
Yeah.
Is to criticize and mock specific things and people and events.
Yeah, I would venture to say that probably the majority, probably 95% of the people who have watched National Lampoon series have no idea what lampoon means.
Now you know. Now you, listener, you know.
We all know now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody who listens to this podcast, the entire world.
Yeah, so all of those are my kind of like ancient examples, the history of humans having a little LMFAO. But obviously we want to focus specifically on film. Like we want to talk about how this has impacted film and critiques and comments and laughs at film genres. Well, the parody or spoof film in particular is basically as old as the concept of film itself. Like as soon as people were making movies, they were making parodies of movies.
Yes.
A good example is in 1905, which
Wow.
is as early.
That feels too early.
I know, but so it was not a very long film, right? It was a short film. It was a silent Western called The Great Train Robbery. The OG, The Great Train Robbery, was directed by Edward S. Porter and came out in 1903. 2 years later, in 1905, Porter parodied his own work by creating The Little Train Robbery. So it's The Great Train Robbery, The Little Train Robbery.
What a cheeky little bitch.
The stories were nearly identical, except in his parody, he featured child actors on a miniaturized set to like inherently make the plot more lighthearted.
That's hilarious.
It just feels extra funny, like to do it yourself.
Yeah.
It is. Yes. Also, like so many people take themselves so fucking seriously.
Right.
Mhm.
It's nice to see that even in 1903, 1905, we were making fun of ourselves.
There's two wolves inside of me. The Great Train Robbery and the Little Train Robbery. A little while later, we still get some really noteworthy examples. Like 1940, it's still pretty early for the history of like filmography, but This one I had heard of before. The Great Dictator, starring Charlie Chaplin, came out. Also silent, but this was a satirical parody of Nazi Germany. It served as commentary on Hitler. It served as commentary on early World War II. So this is in 1940s. So this is very early days of the conflict. This is actually before the US's intervention into World War II. And the film was made kind of to prod people and to get people to be aware and to
Pay a little more attention.
But it is a comedy, you know. Like, I do have a vague memory of seeing clips of Charlie Chaplin with a little fake mustache, kind of like bumbling about, and mocking Hitler. So it's really interesting how, as soon as we have the technology to create these kinds of films, we're on that.
Yeah, no, it is amazing, like how deep the roots go, but it makes sense. Like we're saying, it's just a part of human nature, basically, to want to make fun. And let me tell you, there are a lot of more modern examples of spoofs, parodies, satires, etc. And a lot of them had either been remade as well, which I didn't realize. Kind of the first one on our list here is Get Smart. I was only aware of the 2008 version with Anne Hathaway and Steve Carell. Did not realize that there's a version from 1965.
Yeah, it's a TV show.
Yes.
Okay. I feel like I have heard of that.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe it was mentioned like on a podcast I had listened to at one point in time. I have no fucking clue why they were talking about that. But it's interesting. Like, it's still making fun of the same thing.
Right. No, they're both still making fun of spy movies and like specifically James Bond as the biggest spy movie.
Yeah.
What I didn't know that I thought was really interesting is, first of all, I don't really gap about James Bond. So I did not have a good timeline about when those movies came out. Apparently, the first James Bond movie came out in 1962 and it was very, very successful. So Get Smart, the TV show, comes out in 1965. That's right after.
That's a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
And then almost immediately after Get Smart starts, we have Casino Royale, which is not the James Bond movie that I believe Daniel Craig is in like mid 2000s. It is actually a spoof from 1967 that is an early James Bond mockery. But
so is that a parody then? If it's if it's taking punches at specifically James Bond, I think it's a parody.
Yeah, I think you're probably right on that. But regardless, interesting.
That's funny
that the title used in that is a title that is used later, and I don't know the rhyme or reason behind that. I'm sure I could have done a little bit more research.
I was going to say maybe there's actual James Bond lore as to why that is, because if not, that's funny that the actual James Bond then decades later does that. Is that then another parody of a parody?
I don't know. I don't know.
Or we're just dumb and Casino Royale is like a really major.
It's probably a James Bond canon thing.
And there's many other spy spoof parody, etc. That are on this list, but we're kind of going in semi-chronological order here.
It's a little hard to go chronologically, just as a note, because like Get Smart, there are so many examples where a parody is either becomes serialized or is a franchise, or there's been remakes.
Or if it's a spoof, there's just so many versions of the same spoof.
Yes, which is like the James Bond spy movie. There's so many different versions of that. Also, just like while doing the research, it's like, do you organize it by the people who make it? Because there's so many people who make so many. Or do you organize it by the time? Do you organize it by the category? Like, there's so many different ways. So just bear with us, dear listener.
No, like, but actually, let's all put on our critical thinking hats and we'll note the patterns.
Thanks, Mom. So next on our list, we have Young Frankenstein, 1974, which is spoofing that early film horror genre.
Is it both a spoof of the horror genre and then a parody of Frankenstein?
I would say yes.
Yeah, it's a spoof parody.
Yeah.
And it stars Mel Brooks. Keep that name in your mind.
Yes, because
our king Mel Brooks.
Next, well, actually, same year, our king Mel Brooks does Blazing Saddles, which I believe does he star in that as well? Or is he just behind the scenes?
He's always shows up like randomly in his movies.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the Mel Brooks of it all.
Blazing Saddles is so good if you guys have not watched it.
Yes, it is great. It is like, it's clearly making fun of the Western, specifically like John Wayne, Gary
And
Cooper.
I would say it's a spoof of the Western, but it's also a satire of like Hollywood in general.
Yes,
Yeah.
very much so. And it's like also targets like the whitewash myth of the
Uh-huh.
Western in a lot of fun, creative ways.
And it also, because of the whole, like, if you know, I guess, how it's done,
Mhm.
and it almost feels like you're like jumping timelines. In a way, it also kind of tells you like how recent the Wild Wild West was.
Yeah.
Like
Mm.
we always think about it as being so
Detached from
yeah,
like the rest of our history
yeah,
almost.
yeah.
Yeah, it's got some huge accolades. I think that if anybody out there is holding the kind of like notion that spoof parodies are
Just
lower,
dumb.
yeah,
Yeah.
just dumb
Mhm.
comedy, dumb humor, that is not true to the actual like heart of the subgenre.
No.
Mhm.
Blazing Saddles earned 3 Oscar nominations, and IMDb has Blazing Saddles listed as the 3rd best comedy
Wow.
of all time.
I mean, I haven't watched that in years, and the first time I watched it, I was way too young. I had no idea what the
Mhm.
fuck was going on, and I watched it again probably in college, and I was like, this is actually really
It's so
funny.
good.
Yeah. But like highly suggest if you have never watched any Mel Brooks,
Mhm.
please watch Blazing Saddles. I believe it's available on at least one popular streaming service now. Two examples that are kind of the same era is Monty Python and the Holy Grail and Monty Python's Life of Brian. The Holy Grail is like making fun of the Arthurian legend and medieval films, and kind of like strips the heroic, like the, I don't know, the veil behind the heroic chivalric knighthood story, which not necessarily my cup of tea when it comes to these type of movies, but I know a lot of people love Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Ooh, I have to share. It's been a long time since I've watched it, and I probably should give it another go. But for a long time, I was a staunch Monty Python and the Holy Grail hater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think I've ever actually seen it. I just,
Yeah.
because it's so prolific,
yes.
I know of things that happen in it.
Mhm. Yeah, like the coconuts.
Yeah. But I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
I think that when I was like high school, college age, I knew a lot of boys who were
Oh,
who were
yes.
die hard for
Yes.
Monty Python and the
It
Holy
was like
Grail.
it's like the 2001 Space Odyssey of
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, of boys who graduated in the 2010s.
Yes.
Early 2010s. But I think because of that, I was a hater of it, maybe unfairly, I don't
Mhm.
know, but it was just like I was getting all these lines quoted at me
Yeah.
Yes.
that I was like, I don't get this humor.
Yeah.
So maybe I need to give it another go, but also maybe it's not my taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Monty Python, Life of Brian, 1979. It is much more parodying like the biblical films of that time. If you've never seen the 10 Commandments, that's like from like 1950. I don't even know what year that is. You can probably look that up. But that movie, I remember watching like every now and then around Easter just because it was
I've
on.
never seen that.
You've never seen it? This could be child brain.
Uh-huh.
It felt like it was 5 fucking hours long. But there were a lot of movies around that time that were like the epic biblical stories.
Mhm.
But it's very much like talking about the absurdity of religious fanaticism and like the
Mhm.
political movements. But if you haven't seen those, at least the 10 Commandments,
Don't save yourself.
It's a very long movie. And then we move into the 80s here with Airplane. You guys watched Airplane?
No.
I haven't, but I'll tell you what, I was reading some articles for this episode that were sucking Airplane's dick.
Oh, which is a joke in Airplane. I watched that also probably too young. My dad just came home with that like from the Walmart $5 bin or whatever of
Mhm.
DVDs. Still haven't watched that one in years, but I remember that being so funny. And then like hearing some of the jokes later, like, oh, that was funny because I knew I was supposed to laugh, but
Mhm.
now I know why it's funny. Getting off topic there a little bit. It's making fun of like the disaster films of the 1970s. Which I didn't realize was such a prolific
Yeah.
genre, but like 0 Hour is one that was referenced a lot
Yeah.
as being like the disaster genre, like
I guess
apex
I
of
get
that.
it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know the 1970s / early 80s disaster genre, but like I know that there was like a resurgence of that in like the 2000, like the lost of it all.
Mhm.
Like people,
Yes.
that's a genre that people like. So if
Yeah.
it's a genre people like, it's a genre you
Yeah.
can spoof.
This is later, but one that just popped in my head for the disaster. Not a spoof, not a satire, but Dante's Peak. Did you guys watch that one?
No, I don't think so. Is that the one where they cannibalize? No.
No, it's about a volcano erupting.
Oh.
But it's 97, so it's a little bit after apparently whatever was this big.
Yeah. Well, as we're
Airplane.
talking about that, I was like, in like early tens, there was like the 2012 movie, the San Andreas Fault movie.
There's a lot of
Oh
those.
yeah, that's true.
I think
Yeah.
a lot of them also have The Rock in them, which is interesting.
The Rock loves those movies. But you know what's interesting about looking at the trends in spoof and parody movies, like we already mentioned, a lot of people who are working on these kinds of films are working on multiple. Like
Yeah.
David Zucker, who made Airplane, also made
a lot of other things. Naked Gun. I think he's on the list somewhere else here. But David Zucker, Jim Abrams, and Jerry Zucker also go by the shorthand ZAZ or ZAZ. I'm pretty sure it's ZAZ.
okay.
Because they did so many things in that era together. And that's
Such an 80s name.
oh,
That is.
100%. 100%. After Airplane, we've got Naked Gun, which has many iterations. The original.
I had no idea there were so many.
No, I knew that there was one original.
Yeah.
I was unaware that there was so many. And
5.
yes. So 1982, 1988, 91, 94, and then the most recent 2025.
I haven't seen any of them.
I have not seen any of them. I wanted to see Naked Gun,
Yeah.
the most recent one, when I was in
Yeah.
theater.
I've heard
and
it's
then
supposed to be really good.
Yes, I've
Yeah.
heard great things. I mean,
Yeah.
like, and the original Naked Gun, like, I think it's a smart parody. It's a
Yeah.
smart. It's they're so funny, but also not stupid.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong. Haven't watched them.
Yeah.
But that's the vibe I get.
Like spoofing those like gritty police procedurals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we've got Spaceballs, 1987. That's also a Mel Brooks. It is very clearly making fun of Star Wars, but kind of all of the space adventure films at that time. If you want to learn more about space adventure movies, listen to our space episode.
That just reminded me, though, one of the early Mel Brooks,
Mm-hmm.
before Blazing Saddles, before Spaceballs, was The Producers.
I don't think
Have you
I
guys
know
seen that?
this. No.
I mean, it's a comedy musical.
Mhm.
Mm.
It has Gene Wilder in it as
Oh,
well,
okay.
which
Love
Mel
Gene
Brooks,
Wilder.
Gene Wilder.
Yes.
Is it making
beautiful
fun of
pairing.
producers?
Yeah, it's more of a satire.
Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the whole rigmarole, producers, Hollywood, whatever. Really, it's good. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was 1967.
Wow. So, I mean, 20 years before Spaceballs.
He's been in the game.
Yeah, and he still is. Spaceballs, the new one, which is the title,
Mhm.
is coming out in 2027, and that's going to be directed by Josh Greenbaum.
I'm excited for that.
I am excited
Yeah.
too, and oh god, what's the other one? The annoying Josh Gad, is that his name?
Yeah.
I know he's like pioneering. He loves Spaceballs. He's the one
You
who
don't
like
like
really got
him?
this. I don't think I like Josh Gad.
I like
Who
him.
is Josh Gad? Sorry to
He's-
this man. I don't know this
He's
man.
the snowman in Frozen. He's also a cat in Cats.
Oh, I haven't watched that.
This man.
He's in- I think he's pretty. I think he's funny.
He annoys me.
I think he's funny, but he does look a little bit like he would be a coworker that would be trying to date you, but like would never ask you directly, but would just make you a little uncomfortable.
You might not be wrong, but I do think he's funny, and because of him, we are getting Spaceballs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know what?
You
Shout out
know,
Josh Gad.
we all test high in different categories. So Mel Brooks also has History of the World Part 1 that came out in 1981, which is like comical musical. I have not actually seen the original, but I watched the, I think, Hulu 2023 History of the World Part 2, and that is hilarious. I think it fits into our
yeah,
parodies, whatever, satire.
definitely. Well, like the first one, I think would even go back to the when you're talking about Monty Python Life of
Mhm.
Brian with the whole like epic biblical film. I
Yes.
feel like that would fit in there.
Yeah, yeah. Mel Brooks is just a star.
Yeah.
He knows what he likes and he's good at it.
Yes, he's
Dang.
exactly who he thinks he is.
Yeah. His son, on the other hand,
Yeah. We'll talk about him in another podcast. On the same note of Mel Brooks, Robin Hood Men in Tights, 1993, which is
Also so
obviously
good.
making fun of Robin Hood. It is hilarious. Mel Brooks, I think, is our god now. But instead of like Sheriff Nottingham in the original text, it's Sheriff Rottingham. There's a ton of exaggerated
The
mockeries.
chastity panties, but it's like metal
Yeah.
locked up.
Yes, yes. And also Sheriff Rottingham is Snape, Severus Snape. What's his name?
Alan Rickman.
Yes. So Sheriff Rottingham is Alan Rickman, and I think that's just fun for us kids who really only know Alan Rickman through Snape.
Okay, I'm sorry. Because Mel Brooks is our god, I had to look up a couple things about him. First, I had to know how many Oscars does he have? He has to have some. He has to have Oscars. Look at how much he's created. He has 2, which doesn't feel like enough.
No.
1 competitive award for Best Original Screenplay for The Producers
Okay.
from 1969.
That's pretty early too.
Yeah, and then an honorary award, not a competitive
Boo.
one, but but that was presented to him in 2024. The other thing I needed to know was this man has to be married, and I was making a guess in my mind as I was realizing just how much he's done.
Yeah.
Where I was like, this man has had to have been married for a long ass time, because I know that a girl is not leaving a funny man like that. And it's true that Mel Brooks and Anne Bancroft have been married for over 40 years. They got married in 1964.
Yep.
She did die in 2005, though.
Well, that was over 40 years when she died, and now
it
he's
was over 40
a
years when they
single
died.
sad man that's still
He
making
is
funny things.
99.
Jesus, protect that man. Put cushions around him like they do. God, I can't think of anyone's name today. Not Dick Cheney, wrong guy. Who's the one who does the countdown?
Oh,
For
Dick
years?
Clark?
Dick Clark.
Different dick.
Yeah, literally. Like, remove the padding from that man. Put it on Mel Brooks. I want Mel Brooks more. And you know what? If Gilda Radner didn't like die on Gene Wilder, they would also have this blissful long marriage. But shit happens. Well, back to our list here. We've got Mars Attacks, which I did not 1996, which I did not realize was Tim Burton.
I don't think I've heard of this movie.
You've never heard of Mars Attacks?
Me neither.
Interesting. It's Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It's like any invasion movie. I when I was doing research, I saw somebody say like, "Oh, it's making fun of Independence Day," but Independence Day came out the same year. So I wonder if they were playing off of each other or not. But there's other source material to make fun of.
I was gonna say the obvious one would be H.G. Wells, because that's Martian invasion. That's like the first Martian invasion.
Yeah.
But since I've never seen it, I can't tell you for sure.
And then we have another spy maker funner of her, which is Austin Powers, which that is so obvious in hindsight. As a child, Austin Powers is its own thing. Like, I'm not thinking about other texts when I'm watching Austin Powers.
Yeah, Austin Powers was a movie that growing up we were allowed to watch at a very, very young age, and then weren't allowed to watch for a few years, and then we could watch it again.
I love
older.
Lisa's parenting style.
So funny.
And if you don't know, there's 3 Austin Powers, 1997, 99, and 2002, all directed by Jay Roach.
I feel like for a while now I've wanted to, for Halloween, dress up as one of the ladies with the little boob guns.
Yes.
I want to say Fembot.
That's Fembot.
Yeah, okay. I
that's
was like,
what
is
they're
that right? No, I feel like we could be like a whole movie's worth of Austin Powers. Write that down.
Halloween costume idea.
And then we've got, I think, probably a very well-known franchise, the Scary Movie franchise.
You skipped over American Pie.
Oh, sorry, I didn't. Also, of another very.
I was about to say, like, the one that, like, for millennial Gen Z, older Gen Z, that was, like, I feel like our introduction to what, like, a spoof really could be.
Yeah.
American Pie were the movies that, like, I was taking the DVD off the DVD shelf when my parents weren't watching, and I was playing it because I wasn't, like, allowed to watch it, but I would hear them laughing their asses off in the living room, and I'd be like, what the fuck is
that? So we have 1999, 2001, 2003, and 2012 for American Pie. Was there not an American Pie TV show that came out at, like, the end of the 10s?
I have no
idea. Like, on Netflix?
I don't know. Yeah, they're actually,
the original was a TV series? No, there's a TV series before the original film in 1996.
Yeah, apparently there was actually an American Pie TV series in 1996, but there wasn't, I don't think there's been any American Pie content cinematic universe since 2012.
Okay.
Then what the fuck am I thinking?
There was an era of all of like Van Wilder. Is that considered one of those? And then there's like road trip movies. Like, would those be kind of
Wet Hot American Summer. That's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Very in the same vein. But this is
Yeah.
100% of what I'm thinking of is Wet Hot American Summer. Yeah. Okay.
I was thinking as I was looking at those American Pie years, I guess 1996, 1999, 2001, 2003, 2012. This is now becoming a familiar song. And since we've seen things like Spaceballs getting brought back in 2026, The Naked Gun being brought back in 2025, I was like, are we about to get an American Pie remake in the next 5 years? Seems like we're due.
Yeah, probably. And on that note, Scary Movie franchise, 2001, 2001, which is directed by Keenan Ivory Wayans, 2003, 2006, which is David Zucker, and then 2013, Malcolm D. Lee. There is also one I think that just came out. So 2026 as we record, which is directed by Michael. Is it Titties? Michael Titties. But I'm gonna go with Titties.
Okay, Michael Titties.
So the 2026 version has grossed the most of any of the other movies in the franchise. $55 million in the first weekend against a $30 million budget. So they have made that money back, baby. And a bunch of the old cast came back. I think that was a huge part of their advertisements. Yeah.
These numbers really surprised me because I think we hear so many stories these days of like remakes like kind of bombing at the box office. And I think that probably a fair number of people expected Scary Movie to tank. You know, it came out at kind of roughly the same time as really original concepts like Obsession,
Backrooms,
yeah. Exactly. And yet clearly people do want to show up for a comedy, right? Yeah.
Which I don't know, because the Scream franchise, which obviously Scary Movie takes a lot from, or makes fun of a lot from, they are still making those movies. I think one came out last year, if I remember correctly. And I don't feel like they're getting the same amount of buzz as like the Scary Movie franchise recent movie. Like, so it's interesting
where the trends lie, what the people want.
Yeah, and I've also seen some commentary online about the most recent Scary Movie performs well. Are we going to get another White Chicks? Because that's the same creators, the original ones.
The same original creators, yeah.
Which is that a poof? A poof?
A poof?
Is it a poof?
It's a satire of white chicks. Well, actually, it is parodying Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie, so it's a parody White Chicks,
and it's also making fun of like buddy cop movies.
That's true too. So it's also spoof.
Yeah.
Wow. White Chicks, the trifecta.
Wow.
The triple crown.
Now we have A Knight's Tale.
Ooh,
2001, Brian Heegland.
He looks good.
Such
good.
A good movie. If you have not watched, pause the podcast. We'll be here when you come back. But it is directly pulling from Geoffrey Chaucer's The Canterbury Tales.
I did not realize that was his first name. I've only ever heard
Chaucer. When I was putting this in there, I was like, he has a first name. Okay. So from Chaucer's The Canterbury Tale, and it is parodying modern sports movies. It's got the training montage. It has hype men. I believe the opening scene, if not one of the first scenes, is them sitting in the crowd waiting for the jousting tournament to We Will Rock You, which is just like such a beautiful cinematographic moment. But Knight's Tale, phenomenal movie. Now we're on to Zoolander. In my opinion, a less phenomenal movie.
Yeah, I remember watching it as a young kid, and for some reason really sticking with me. But I know for a fact if I watched it now, I would hate it because I hate Ben Stiller and everything he does.
Did you hate A Night at the Museum?
Okay, I don't hate A Night at the Museum.
was like, that takes a lot to hate that movie. But Zoolander 2001, and then more recent, not, I mean, it's 10 years old at this point, which is hard to say, but another version in 2016, directed by Ben Stiller. He's also the one of the main characters.
Got Owen Wilson.
Yes. But it is making fun of the trend obsessed fashion industry, the egos and lifestyles of the top models, and just the whole lifestyle. Shaun of the Dead, 2004, clearly making fun of, explicitly in the title, Dawn of the Dead.
Also a really good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And other classic zombie films at the time.
Mhm.
Shaun of the Dead is directed by Edgar Wright.
I just thought of one that came out also in 2001,
Mhm.
and I think it's Josie and the Pussycat Dolls.
Okay.
So that's like, I think it's based off like Archie comic type things,
Mhm.
but it also is kind of a satire of the music industry and the
Yeah.
boy band consumerism of it all.
Yeah, absolutely. One that I saw mentioned on a couple of lists that I really had to like search the depths of my brain for was Hoodwinked. Did you guys watch that?
I really liked Hoodwinked.
I loved.
That
We
was
watched
really
that
good,
on
actually.
so many road trips.
Yeah. Wait, and Hoodwinked? Okay, this is a funny side story.
Uh-huh.
Let the parasociality grow. But my dad's name is Keith,
Uh-huh.
and there is a part in Hoodwinked where someone is like, "What's your name?" And the other character goes, "Keith," and they're like, "Keith." So sorry. Keith just isn't a very scary name. Keith just isn't a scary name.
Is that one of the like skier people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. And then my family proceeded to quote that line to my dad for a decade.
That's one of those things that if we did that to my father, he would act like he hates it, but he would be like secretly being like, they haven't mentioned that in a while. But Hoodwink 2005, there's also a sequel. I didn't put that down in here, but it's following like, or I guess subverting the traditional fairy tale narrative, but also crime mystery, police
Mhm.
investigation, buddy cop. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
And it's for kids.
Yes. And I haven't watched it in a while, but I feel like that animation style is a little uncanny valley at this point.
Yeah, maybe.
It's just kind of a weird
Yeah.
era of animation. Another one that I don't think I had ever, well, a couple that I don't think I've ever heard of. These two are directed by the same people, Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer, which is
Mhm.
the Date movie 2006
Mhm.
and then Epic movie 2007.
Let me check because the Epic movie sounds really familiar.
It
Date
sounds
movie?
familiar to me too, but I think there's some other ones of that same era that are similar to Epic Movie. So Epic Movie is primarily referencing Chronicles of Narnia and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory,
Mhm.
just those like fantasy blockbusters. And Date Movie is making fun of those rom-coms, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, Hitch, Meet the Parents.
Mhm.
But I feel like there were a couple that came out around that time that are similar to Epic Movie.
I remember these posters. I remember them coming out. I don't think that I actually watched them.
Yeah, they're probably the lowest rated on the list from what I saw.
Mhm.
Also same directors is Meet the Spartans in 2008.
I have seen that one.
Which is based off of 300.
Yeah. I've actually never seen 300, but I have seen Meet the Spartans.
I actually think I watched 300 in two separate classes.
Male history teachers love
Oh,
300.
they sure do. Hot Fuzz, which is one of my, I would say, favorite
It's really
parody,
good.
spoof, etc. 2007, Edgar Wright, who also did Shaun of the Dead. And Edgar Wright also has The World's End in 2013. Hot Fuzz is explicitly making fun of like the American action cop film, very like making fun of Die Hard style, lots of blowing up, but also the English countryside.
It's so British.
So British
So
and hilarious.
I just thought of one from back in 1999, and
Mhm.
it just like it came.
We're
from
unlocking memories.
Exactly. Have you guys seen Mystery Men?
Oh.
I don't think so. Is that Martin Short?
There's a number of people that I think you would be surprised were in this movie. Ben Stiller is in this movie.
Your favorite actor?
Yeah, I don't see Martin Short, but
Oh.
Hank Azaria.
Okay.
Yeah, so Mystery Men.
Mm-hmm.
It's a spoof, I would guess, maybe, of just like the general like superhero comic book type story.
Mm-hmm.
I remember really liking it as a kid. but it was a boat movie, so
And we know about those boat movies. We'll do a whole episode on boat movies at some point. And if you don't know what that means, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Buckle up.
Another one that is Larsen's favorite actor,
Mhm.
also favorite director Ben Stiller, Tropic Thunder 2008, which is like making fun of the Hollywood studio system, actors' egos, how far they will go like for the authenticity of the acting, and also like the classic war movies, think Apocalypse Now and Platoon. I've watched this movie twice. Robert Downey Jr. is playing a man who's playing a man in blackface.
Oh.
And it's
Okay.
obviously funny.
Mhm.
It's obviously meant to be funny. And I think it does age okay. But there's other parts where I'm just like, what the fuck are we doing? Which is the whole point of the
Yeah.
movie. And it has been probably, I don't know, 3 years since the last time I watched it.
Mhm.
But the first time I watched it, I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was also probably
I
No, I was gonna say getting fingered the first time I watched it.
Well, speaking of sexual
Getting fingered?
encounters,
Oh.
have you guys seen Fired Up?
I believe I've
That
seen
sounds so familiar.
portions.
Describe a little bit of it.
2009, sport comedy
Mhm.
parody of teen movie cliches. Two boys want to fuck a lot. Women, by the way, they want to fuck each other.
Okay,
But
okay.
I thought you were gonna go for 2 boys, 1 cup.
though, actually, down the line,
Maybe.
maybe. So they go to cheerleader camp because it's full of girls.
Mm.
It's really good, actually.
I think that I have seen it. It's somewhere tickling the back corners of my mind, but I'm clearly due for a rewatch.
Yeah, it's definitely like a parody of teen movie cliches and certainly like that era of cheerleading movies and whatever.
Yeah.
But like it's called Fired Up and they're at this camp and the director's literally making them say F you. F you. There's so many great
Oh my
lines
gosh,
from
wait,
that movie.
It's like really pulling at something
There
deep
the,
in
Yeah,
the files.
the
yeah.
douche college boyfriend of one of the girls sings Chumbawamba.
Side story here. I went on a date a while ago, and Chumbawamba is a fucking weird song. A lot of people don't know the name of the song, but they know the song.
Mhm.
And I was like, what's that song that's like a whiskey drink, a vodka drink?
Mhm.
And he's just looking at me like I'm fucking crazy. And I was like, you would know it if you heard it. And then later I sent it to him from like Spotify and was like, oh, like this is the song. He's like, I told you I don't know what that is. And I was like, I don't think this is gonna work. If you're not willing to play the bit here, it's not gonna work.
Yeah. There's so many great
Must
lines from that movie
rewatch.
though.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta risk it to get the biscuit.
That's where that comes from.
That's from Fired Up.
Wow. The next title, I couldn't figure out if it was how punny it was supposed to be. It's They Came Together, which is making fun of rom-coms. I had never seen this. It's Amy Poehler and Paul Rudd.
Oh.
I didn't even I'd never seen anything about this.
Yeah.
I feel like in that time, 2014, it would have been on my radar a little bit, but I guess not. But is it came? It's got to be came.
It's got to be both.
They
It's
came. It's got to be a double entendre, right?
Yeah. There's no way it's not.
No,
Right.
that's what with those two. Come on,
Come on.
Then we have Pride and Prejudice Zombies, which is I feel like a different spoofing than we've talked about. So I haven't watched Pride and Prejudice Zombies. Is it giving explicitly comedy throughout the film, or is it serious?
I haven't seen it either, but I know there's also a book. Is the movie based on the book or did the movie come first and then someone wrote the book?
The movie Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is based on the book, and the movie has the kind of tone of like being serious to be funny.
Got it. Okay, because that made me think of an Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer.
Oh yeah.
Which I've only watched that once, many years ago at this point. I don't remember it being funny. Like I remember it being like, oh, we're trying to make a serious movie here about this. Which it could have been trying to be funny.
I think Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer, I watched that one too, and you're right that I think that one was taking itself too seriously. I think that I have seen Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and I think it's definitely leaning more comedy. Like it knows it's a comedy, but it's like, for example, so it's Pride and Prejudice, it's Regency era England. They're trying to do all the same things, except there's zombies.
Yeah.
And so when they get ready for the ball, the Bennett sisters are like tucking knives into their garters and shit. But like, so it embraces some absurdism
Yeah.
Yeah.
more than Vampire Slayer does.
Yeah, that makes sense. Ridiculous Six, which is
Mhm.
obviously directly referencing Magnificent Seven,
Mhm.
but other westerns, and that's 2015. Frank Carassi, and then one that I watched many moons ago, not so many because it came out in 2020. But in the COVID haze, Eurovision Song
Yeah.
Contest, the story of Fire Saga,
Yeah.
which is Rachel McAdams and Will Ferrell, and it is hilarious.
It's really funny.
It's referencing the real life Eurovision Song Contest and like all of the eccentricities and
Mhm.
like the crazy elaborate sets and
Mhm.
like the costuming and all of these things that we really don't get that much exposure to as Americans.
Yeah.
Watching Eurovision Song Contest, the story of the Fire Saga, really made me like want to learn more about Eurovision, and then I
Mhm.
quickly lost that spark.
Yeah.
And the final one on our list, which is obviously not a complete list, but the moment
There's no way you can have a complete list.
you know, never ever ever.
Oh, she's so good. The Moment as a film knows exactly what it's
Yes.
doing, and it's doing it so well.
Yes.
Unflinchingly, satire. Yeah, I think it would count as satire.
I feel like it's more of a satire
Yeah.
because it's like it's a parody in that you know that it's a specific person,
Yes.
but it's a satire because it is kind of like the whole system.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know, or I didn't know. I don't know. I still don't know that much about Charlie, especially compared to some of the other people in this room. But after that movie, I was like, so do like her and Taylor Swift have beef? Because if they don't, they do now. And they're
Yeah.
like, no,
They
they do have
do.
beef. I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
they do.
okay.
So if you don't know, The Moment, like when it was coming out, it was marketed like Charlie XCX was like, this is a concert film.
Mhm.
But you go and it's not
No.
not a concert film. It's not a concert documentary. It's mocking the
Mhm.
concert film, concert documentary genre and poking specific fun at Taylor Swift
Yeah.
because she's like known to do that. Every
Yes.
time she does a tour, she
There's
does a ginormous
some-
film,
Yeah.
Mhm.
big cash grab.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I mean, Beyonce's done that. Billie Eilish is doing
Oh,
it. Like,
yeah.
so many people are taking advantage of that
Uh-huh.
stream of revenue.
It's become a popular thing in the music industry, and
Yeah.
yeah, they're definitely trying to turn that a bit on its head.
Once you watch it, you're like, okay, this is fully poking fun at Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
But it also is like a satire because it's the whole industry
Yes.
and like the companies behind these people
Yeah.
who are like pushing
Like the branding of it all.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Brat credit card.
Yeah,
The Brat credit card.
and then
Yeah.
like the director who they hire and like the certain image that they're
Yes.
trying to push. That's even like
Yes.
very political.
They're like changing her like tour design so that it's like chuggy giant lipstick that
Mhm.
spits
Mhm.
fire and they dangle her really above the fire. The thing about The Moment that makes it kind of more leaning into satire, I feel like, is that it's the entertainment and slapstick of it
Mhm.
is not as much there. There's not doing any kind of slapstick comedy, but it is really funny at the same time that you're like agitated.
Yeah.
It's almost the kind of funny where you're like frustrated. And there's like
Mhm.
a scene where this new music concert film director has come in and he's like overstepping and he's like, oh, we just want to make sure that like if a family turns the TV on to Charlie's concert film that they don't turn the channel. We want to make sure that it's like fit for everyone to watch.
Yeah.
And the like lead tour designer is like, this song is about Coke. I think I might have like laughed out loud in the
I
theater.
laughed out loud many times
Yeah.
in that movie.
But man, it's a never-ending list. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
we could keep going. There's a rich lineage of parody and spoof movies
Mhm.
here, right?
Yeah.
I took the liberty of doing more math than I've done in the past couple of weeks and adding it up, and we mentioned over 30 movies.
Mhm.
Over 30 easily. And what I thought was really especially interesting about the collection that we listed just the biggest ones, the ones that we remember, the ones that came up in a cursory like amount of research. There is not really one genre that is dominating across the movies that we mentioned. It's super split, which I think speaks to people's like want to spoof and parody everything,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like there was three specific spy spoofs that we mentioned, two that were more horror focused, two that were more Western focused. There was 6, and I think the only reason this number is so big is because I kind of lumped in anything that was fantasy/history into that category, but there was 6 that were kind of, you know, in the Monty Python and the Holy Grail or Knight's Tale kind of arena.
Yeah.
3 that were apocalypse or action focused, 3 that were space alien focused, 2 that were police procedural focused, 3 that were distinctly about romance or relationships, and 4 that were about Hollywood and the entertainment industry. And a lot of those movies, those genre spoofs, are trending across decades. So you might have something like Young Frankenstein in 1974. And then the next time in our list that we mentioned a horror movie spoof is with the Scary Movie franchise in 2000.
Yeah.
Same thing with like Westerns. We mentioned Blazing Saddles in 1974. And then the next one that we had on our list was Ridiculous Six in 2015. And that, of course, doesn't mean that there aren't other spoofs of those genres that exist in the interim years. But if you're looking at the biggest names, you're seeing these peaks and these valleys. The one outlier in that I'll point out is the Hollywood entertainment industry spoofs. The first one that we listed was Zoolander in 2001. And so all of...
I mean, the producers.
Huh?
The producers.
Oh, the producers.
Oh, yeah. Well,
you're right.
The other Mel Brooks one.
Blazing Saddles.
Thank you. Yeah, Blazing Saddles is also...
I suppose you're right. Actually, that's such a good counterpoint, is that actually if you're poking fun at an entire movie genre, in a way you're poking fun at the film industry. So like Blazing Saddles is using Western, but really more to point out
the entire industry,
something about the film industry that's making the Westerns, right? Is that kind of the idea? Yeah, so that makes sense. I guess it's not as recent as maybe I was thinking, but I was just thinking it was interesting that like Zoolander, Tropic Thunder, Eurovision Song Contest, The Moment, like a lot of the entertainment focused ones have come out in like the last 25 years, but maybe that's just because the entertainment industry
has kind of grown, shifted a little bit too.
It's like evolving, right? So maybe that specific spoof or parodies always existed, but looks a little different as we move forward.
Yeah. The one category I think you maybe missed, and maybe you included it in a separate category, but like the general like teen movie, because I feel like that has so many branches, like
for sure
American Pie, but Fired Up, Not Another Teen Movie. Like there's so many that are about either like directly parroting specific teen movies or just spoofing like the general
teen movie, like
the general like genre. And I think it kind of goes back to like 2 weeks ago we were talking about the Shakespeare adaptation of like teen movies, like that whole decades long bump, I don't know, in like that kind of teen
like
movie,
the spike of that. I
feel like there's also that with like teen movie parodies, but we haven't had a lot of good teen movies since that era. So like when are we gonna get those parodies again?
Right, when will they come back? No, you're so right. Basically everything we talked about in our Shakespeare adaptation teen rom-com episode is a parody, right? So that lumps into yet another category, that like teen spoof, teen parody.
Because I feel like those are typically like their own genre. Like they might obviously fall under other categories, but like usually these spoofs, parodies of teen movies are like literally the teen movie as its own like
well, and kind of as we're talking about like these trends, we're getting a spike again in some of these parodies, these spoofs, but there's kind of been a dead zone of them.
Prior to just like the last couple of years, I would say like it was more stalled out.
Except for those dumb spoof action movies. I'm gonna call them spoof action movies. I don't know what they actually are, but whether the weird breed of monster, you know,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Like Mega Shark movie,
Megalodon, Shark Tornado, whatever. Some of those though, I'm like, did you mean to make a funny movie?
I don't know.
No, that's the thing, is it like the
Sharknado? Sorry, not Shark Tornado.
The Godzilla movies, like where Godzilla fights like another gigantor monster. Like I actually think that those are trying to be serious.
But I feel like Godzilla is different than
Yeah,
Sharknado.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Or like the Twister movie. I feel like that is a spoof as well.
Yeah.
Like, which also had a recent one like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Sometimes you must ask yourself, do you know you're a spoof?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. But like, what is happening in our culture
Mm-hmm.
that could be impacting the effect or
Mhm.
reason that we don't have these spoof movies? And I think
Mhm.
it's we don't have as much of a monoculture as we did because of streaming services, because of all these different platforms. It's not just 3 TV channels, no YouTube, no podcast, no anything. Like, we had such a core cultural identity with a lot of our TVs and shows for a really long time.
Yeah.
And now there's like, you're not talking about one show at the water cooler. You're not talking about the last episode of Lost
Yeah.
last night, because you're watching Lost from 30 years ago. You're watching
Mhm.
Sopranos from 30 years ago. I'm watching Dairy Girls. Like,
Yeah.
people aren't really watching the same exact thing at the same exact time. So you don't have as much of a cultural zeitgeist to rely on, where all society or a lot of our culture is going to get the references in these movies that are making fun of movies.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You know, we see these like this kind of large wave in the 70s and through the 2000s, a 30-year real spike. But then, as we've mentioned, there's a stall. And Marlon Waylands, who writes and stars in the newest Scary Movie, actually said every 10 years you get this recession in comedy and you feel this void. But I saw a different quote that really like spoke exactly to what you're just saying, Kaylin, where a writer said, today, parody might not even be able to exist in the way that it once did. There's no longer a monoculture. Trends appear and disappear overnight, and films and TV shows often amount to nothing more than a fleeting flash in the pan. So, what would comedians even parody? What shared cultural touchstone could they confidently mock, knowing the whole world would understand? And I
Mhm.
was thinking about that quote and thinking kind of about what you said, Kaylin, and just like wondering, is this why we're seeing in these last couple of years more success with parody remakes
Yeah.
than fresh parodies, right? Because it's
Mhm.
like something that people still know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of would disagree with that. I mean, I get what they're saying,
Mhm.
but maybe it's more of like a, okay, don't try to parody something, try to spoof something, or try to do a satire.
Yeah, there's still other ways to.
And I like, we do still have these cultural moments. Like, somebody could easily do a parody of Emerald Fennell's Wuthering Heights. That would be an
That would
insane
be so funny.
parody.
Yeah.
But there are people who are doing this still, and somebody who comes to mind for me is Seth Rogen, and
Mhm.
he is very much doing a lot of satire right now. Maybe it's not like the full-on parody, but he is still choosing projects that are trying to satirize something, like the TV show The Studio or Good Fortune.
Yeah, I was gonna say even Good Fortune
Yeah.
is. It's yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say if it's like explicitly.
Like, I think it is a satire, and I guess you could maybe say it's somewhat of a parody of It's a Wonderful Life. You know, maybe different tone than a lot of the parodies that we've
Yeah.
listed. And I will say, like, I agree that there's been kind of a break between, like, he did The Interview and he
Yeah.
did This Is the End. Those are now over 10
10
years
years
old.
Ugh.
But I feel like there are people who are still choosing to do these projects, but kind of are shifting more towards satire
Yeah.
than straight up parody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose like we live in a pretty politically unstable climate. Like it would be interesting to me. Like I don't have the foresight and the knowledge, but it would be interesting to me to look at these trends in comedy and look at the trends between leaning more towards satire versus leaning more towards parody and more just like like commentary versus entertainment. And where in the political landscapes of things do you see what kind of comedy people like rise or fall? Is satire more appropriate for a day and age where we really need people to be thinking more critically about things?
Yeah, but unfortunately, I feel like the issue with satire is it's so easily misunderstood.
Yeah.
Like, people aren't going to clock it a lot of the time.
Sometimes you have to hit people over the head.
And that's why the spoof and the parody work sometimes.
Yeah,
Because it is
exactly.
just more like in your face.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, that's reminding me of the heyday of The Onion. the not
I
the
was like-
vegetable or root.
I was like, is that a movie title?
I was like, the
No.
onion never went out of style. I
The-
love my alumums or whatever they're called. Thank you.
I love my aluminum.
Right on the head.
But no, The Onion,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is satirical news channel of sorts.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
had like I remember talking about The Onion so much in high school, like leading up to the 2016 elections, and then right around 2015 when things started to get really crazy, and we had this guy named Donald Trump running for president. There was a period of time where a real article would be posted and somebody would comment like, is this an Onion article? Like, this feels so outlandish.
Oh yeah, our weird dystopian world.
Yes. And so it's like we've almost out satiricized ourselves in the political domain. Like The Onion, I still see posts every now and then, and it literally cannot be nearly as funny because
It's
our world's so
it's
fucked up.
too real.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so like the things that you see now from The Onion are usually not super political. It's like kind of like a mock, like every year another study comes out about wine or chocolate and how it's good or
Yeah.
bad for you. So it's kind of like more mocking things like that as opposed to like politics. But like
Well,
it's so hard to mock
Yeah.
the crazy world we live in.
Loki, you can't parody America because then you're just going to end up making something that looks a little like The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
Well, I was
So-
gonna say like I haven't really religiously watched SNL in a while,
Yeah.
but they're a group that is constantly doing satire,
Yes.
parody, spoof all the time, and even that goes through waves of like this isn't even funny.
Yeah.
This is like this isn't good.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And obviously some of that is just like it could be good.
Mhm.
It's just like maybe you're choosing the wrong skits or whatever.
Yeah.
But there are times when it's like, well, that's too real.
Yeah.
Yeah. People need to be like not afraid to say shit. Like
Yeah.
that is important to comedy. People need to be not afraid to take a swing at something real.
Yeah.
And at the same time, on the other flip of the dichotomy, you don't have to poke fun at necessarily like the political climate to entertain. And in fact, sometimes I think when the political climate is really tense, people do just need something that's entertaining, but not something that's dumb. And I
Mhm.
think that's where a
Mhm.
lot of people have gone wrong
Yeah.
is like, oh, this is not the time for a really witty satirical parody, so I'm gonna make something that has dumb jokes,
Less
cheap
teeth.
shots. That's
Animal
not what
Farm?
people want. See our Animal Farm episode for the movie, not the book.
That's a mark against Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
I mean, but at least he tried. But I was thinking about this in like the monoculture like debate that we were having for a
Mhm.
second. I was thinking like, no, actually there are shared cultural touch points that
Yeah.
especially you could use like for our generation. Like our generation is coming into adulthood, right?
Mhm.
And we definitely have shared experience. Like where is my
I think technically we came into adulthood like 5 years ago, but that's fine.
it doesn't feel like it quite yet.
Not yet.
Adulthood is 30 years old.
Yeah.
30's the new 20.
And when I'm 35, I'm gonna be like, no, 40 is when you're an adult. Like,
Yeah.
no, but like, where is my fucking spoof of Disney Channel movies? But that's made for an adult audience.
Yeah.
Where's my, influencers, right? Like,
Yeah.
there is a rich text there of shared experience that you could be using to make entertaining
Yeah.
movies.
No,
Mhm.
there is so much. And also I think that like sure, monoculture helps everybody understand the joke, but we're at a time where like there's now so many opportunities. You could go so many directions.
Yeah.
You just have to find your group.
Your niche, yeah. Which I do think that is something that I think in spaces like YouTube and TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
parody satire
Satire.
satire, parody satire, spoofs, that is a place where that is happening a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, but like happening a lot for sure.
Mhm.
And something recently that was put out, I believe, originally through TikTok and then was made into a YouTube series is The Hunger Games, but better, which obviously The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
But I think that there are a ton of creators out there that are poking fun at niche things or less
Mhm.
niche things. And like even that creator, I don't think I included her. I think I decided against that. But there's that creator on TikTok who like makes fun of like the engagement videos and like
Yeah.
all of like these different
Oh,
things that
yeah.
people are posting that she's
Mhm.
like directly like doing a parody of.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's hilarious. I'm not going to say her name because I unfollowed her because I saw that she is probably a Trump supporter.
Oh,
But I know exactly who you're talking about.
that's disappointing.
It was really hard to unfollow her because she makes really funny stuff. But like, that's a really interesting one to bring up because she's making
Hyper specific.
well, they're TikTok length videos that
Mhm.
are parodying other TikTok videos
Mhm.
where people are getting engaged, but the parodies are like full out in costume with cast. Like it's a parody like of the internet age, and that does make me think like, is the reason why we're not getting as many fresh spoof movies and parody movies because the brightest comedic minds are making TikToks?
Yeah, honestly.
I was just thinking too, though, like some of the ones on our list we watched as kids and
Mhm.
still enjoyed, even if we didn't get all the references. Like
Yes.
Yeah.
Austin Powers,
Yeah.
Blazing Saddles.
Yes.
Like, you know, probably the first couple times I watched Blazing Saddles, I didn't understand every single thing
No.
that he was trying to do,
No.
Yeah.
but I still enjoyed it. I still knew it was a good movie. I was still laughing.
Mhm.
There's like a timelessness to it.
Yeah, and I think that like I don't know, it feels like maybe people aren't even trying because like you can still do
Trying?
you
It
can
does
still
feel
do
a
it.
little bit like that.
Quit making excuses.
We could come up with a film idea right now, you know?
We have on many a past podcast.
Yeah.
Another space where I think parody thrives
Uh-huh.
is music. And I think
Mhm.
obviously Weird Al is like he's the main.
Yeah, and then Lonely Island.
Yes, Lonely Island, which I in my brain I mean it's comedy obviously. It was
Mhm.
SNL originally. I had to like do so much like no, it is a parody. Nope, it's 100% a parody,
Well,
Kaylin.
what's
My
the
dick in a box?
Yeah. What's the new SNL group that did
Oh, I don't know, but yeah,
it's the same, yeah.
And then for y'all country people out there, Earl Dibbles Jr. um who he I can't remember Granger Smith, I think is his real performance name. But like he has a music career
Uh-huh.
and he also has this alternate personality that is
Uh-huh.
like very explicitly making fun of like modern country music and the
Uh-huh.
genre that he's participating in, which
Yeah.
is interesting. In our movie list, some of those people are comedy writers, that's what they do, but some of them that's the only comedy movie they've ever done and it's within their genre, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
I was just thinking we're getting a lot of rom-commy TV shows and movies
Yeah.
this year. I feel like this is a perfect time for somebody to do another parody spoof of that.
Yeah.
But you can't do it and be taking digs at women.
Yeah.
Do it,
No.
play on the tropes,
Yes.
Yeah.
like make fun of some of that, but I feel like sometimes
it's
it's
just fuck women.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. No, you could do that in such a smart way. I was actually thinking about that when Larsen was saying like, are people even trying? I was thinking, why aren't they trying?
Yeah.
Why haven't we gotten like a Bridgerton
Yeah.
period drama parody?
Oh.
Like I would love that. And you know what I thought? I thought of was Persuasion with Dakota Johnson trying to do that and just made like a half-hearted
I
attempt.
don't know, fuck that.
That movie's horrible. I know. No, I know.
I couldn't watch it.
That movie's horrible.
I don't think I'm aware of that
but I
much.
think that might be a really good case study for like where shit is going wrong. Is because if it was such a half-hearted attempt. You can't be half serious and then half
Yeah.
parodying the text and being like, "Worse, he's my ex."
Yeah.
and you have to go for it so
Yeah.
whole hog and with such intention,
Yeah.
or you have to leave it alone.
Well,
I
I'm
just-
thinking too, like heated rivalry, like that's in the rom-com genre at this
Mhm.
point. It's very book talk, very like there's a lot to make fun of there, but also you can't be homophobic.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things that are like, please do this, but do not do that.
Yeah. Actually, this conversation just reminded me there was a movie that came out in December
Oh.
called Fackham Hall.
I don't think
And
I
it's
heard
like
that.
a spoof of I would say it's a parody of Downton Abbey, but it's a spoof of that kind of
Yeah.
general
Fackham Hall?
British.
Yes.
Back 'em all.
Yeah, exactly. I have yet to watch it, but I really want to.
Yeah.
But
Movie night.
that's like one of it's to me what I've seen of it, like trailer wise. I was like, Yes.
This is great.
We got it.
That's
Yeah.
what I need. See, that's what I want to watch. And it actually is really frustrating me as we're talking about it because it's like, damn, when people do take a stab at it, obviously the marketing dollars are not put behind these movies because I didn't know that
I
movie
didn't know that
exists.
either.
And I would have gone and I would have seen it in the theater.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was released in theaters. It might have just been streaming.
That's
Streaming.
even, that's,
yeah.
well,
Yeah.
and that's a whole separate
And
other conversation.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure what the ratings are. I still want to see it.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of the parody spoofs, they are rated
Not
really
really-
poorly by like Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
but like
that's true.
also Rotten Tomatoes sometimes just shut the fuck up. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Well, here's the
That's
thing
true.
about like a comedy is that the highs are highs and the lows are lows,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
When you're, I think that probably any comedian would agree with that. When something lands, it lands. And when
Mhm.
something bombs, it bombs. But you still have to keep trying.
Yeah. Well, and some of these end up getting like cult following afterwards too. So
Like Jennifer's Body. That is a satire.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously bombed in the moment.
Yeah.
Now it's a cult classic. Satire is, it's harder for people to get sometimes, but
No, absolutely. That's a perfect example.
and Fired Up.
Yeah.
You guys have to watch. I hope that if I rewatch it, I hope that it's
It's
not
good.
like aged okay.
Yeah.
I feel like it did age okay. But
Well, it's like when I was watching John Tucker Must Die for our Shakespeare episode, or listen to our Shakespeare
Mhm.
episode, I was like, some of these things,
it mostly aged okay.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, and there's a couple of things where you're just like,
Yeah.
There's a couple things
so
where you
it's
just have to, like,
2003 or whatever, 2006.
Yeah.
let it pass. Let it pass.
Yeah, you just have
Yeah.
to just remember it's 20 years ago. I was
Yeah.
not 10 years old. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. I really did go into this episode being like, I don't like parody movies because
Mhm.
I don't like.
Stupid.
Yeah.
No, you don't
But-
like dumb comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I was like, wait, no, I really like a lot of
Yeah.
these.
Yeah.
Actually, parodies are like kind of cool.
Yeah. If they're done well, they can be really funny.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think people need to keep trying and they need to keep making them. And I feel like this small resurgence that we've gotten in recent years makes me hopeful. By the
Mhm.
way, in America, as of June 2026, you can still make parodies.
Yeah.
They're legally protected currently under the Doctrine of Fair Use, which states that writers can use even copyrighted material in certain circumstances of social critique without the express permission of the copyright holder.
I hope a year from now they'll be like, why did they say it like that? And not that this podcast doesn't exist because the world's gotten so crazy.
I do just want to shout out one we recently watched, which is a satire. I Love Boosters.
Oh, that was good.
I Love Boosters was good. And
Yeah.
I guess satire.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're craving some smart comedy, some smart absurdism, like all of the
Yeah.
things that are defining traits of spoofs and parodies, slapstick, absurdism, satire, those can be done in really poor, dumb ways, and they can be done
Mhm.
really well. And if you want to see a really good example, you should see I Love Boosters.
And
Yeah.
just beautiful example. That was such a
Yeah.
beautiful movie.
Yeah.
And fucking weird. And it was so fucking good.
And fuck the fashion industry.
I was saying one of the boyfriends was really upset about it.
You know what? And that's the thing about spoofs and parodies is it's always going to be a risky business.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people won't get it.
Well, even if they get it, you might still just not like it. And that's fair. And I think that's part of the reason why I think, like, who gives a fuck if it's not a monoculture? You can still make these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to appreciate it if it's
Yeah.
done well.
You know what? Maybe even the more niche, the better.
I really do think somebody needs to do a parody of Wuthering Heights because that's going to go
Add
insane.
it
right
to
now.
the Read the Room of Culture Club Productions list.
Yeah.
We had a lot of examples of movies that came out, were really successful, maybe even if they weren't good. And then 2 years, 3 years later,
Mhm.
the uber successful parody came out. So
Mhm.
listen, now is the time to start
Mhm.
making the Wuthering Heights parody.
Yeah.
Us and our 2 listeners will help you crowdfund if you're out
Yeah.
there and you want to.
If you build it, they will come.
We'll be there.
We'll be there. We are they. You know what, guys? Comment below. What's your favorite parody, spoof,
Yeah.
satire? Do you know what the difference between a parody, spoof, and satire are now? Are we wrong? Are we right?
I think we're right.
God, I hope so. All right, roomies. Thank you so much for listening.
We hope you'll keep reading the room with us.
So keep checking back for more episodes every Monday and Thursday that dive into the spaces where literature, media, and culture meet.
Please reach out to us at readtheroom@cultureclub@gmail.com for feedback and topic suggestions.
Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at readtheroom_culture club for the most up-to-date podcast information.
If you enjoy our podcast, please leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen.
And drop a comment below if you too are itching your eye, being like, wow, my eye really itches. Why is my eye itch? And then you realize, oh, I'm wearing eyeshadow that I bought when I was a sophomore in college. And remember to take up space in whatever room you're in.